Happy Josh Minot Day, everyone. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and I actually just do want to quickly give a big good luck to everyone in Victoria here that is doing the Year 12 English language exam tomorrow, especially those of you who use this show as an example in their essays throughout the season. Actually, not the season, through the year. It's a year at your school, isn't it? That's actually a true story. Thank you to you guys, and good luck tomorrow. I am also, apart from being an essay example for English high school exams, I also am also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and get $20 off when you use the code LOCKEDONNBA with your first purchase. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free and we are available on all platforms. Okay, we are here. And we're going to dig into a busy Monday in the NBA. Injury news, of course, that we've touched on already with Anthony Edwards and Brandon Miller. Let's just get into a little bit of news that maybe some of you care about. Well, no, we'll find out how much you care about it when we get into it right now. Because it's not for everyone. It's not important to everybody, these things. But McClung. McClung is the thing. And given the situation in Indiana, maybe you are going to use him. Maybe. I don't think so. Now, let's talk about this quickly. Part of the reason this is interesting is they had guards brought in preseason. DeLon Wright got the concussion, then Campaign came in, got waived, and they decided to keep all the centers. And then all of their guards kept getting hurt. And then today, after starting him 2 games ago for some reason, Jim Wiseman got waived because that means their desperation times for the guards are here. Now, what does that mean for Benedict Mathurin? What does it mean for Andrew Nembhard? Well, we don't really know, but I'm a little concerned about what their status is instead of relying upon Quentin Jackson or, of course, home camcorder enthusiast Ray J. Dennis. Like, who is, are they going to trust those guys? Now, I don't think you need to add McClung outside of the largest double onyxes in existence, but if Ray J is playing basketball, and if Quentin Jackson is out there, then maybe you do look at McClung. God, it's how we in silly season a day into the year. Brandon Miller's injury, I'm worried about it. I'm going to say that it's minimum a month, but I am worried it lasts longer. We add both Colin Sexton and the big Areola Concanipo. And then deeper leagues, Sion James is a solid enough add off the bench. I think both Sexton and Knipple, I probably lean marginally towards Sexton because he started over Knipple anyway. And I think that he's just got that experience level, and Knipple is getting really floated by 50+% three-point shooting. But both guys are worth looking at. And then we'll talk about Anthony Edwards and his injury in the Timberwolves recap later on in this show because they're, of course, playing today, so we can get into that. Now, we did a waiver wire show earlier today, so we're just going to get straight into talking about the action. Where there's so many games on 11 games, it's the Orlando Magic. And they lose again. This time to the Philadelphia 76ers. I was very iffy when I did my Sixers over-under and had them going over. I was like, really? Am I going to trust the Sixers team? They're playing well. Maybe I'm just trusting the process. 136-124. The Sixers beat the Magic. Jalen Suggs was back, and he started, and yeah, look, maybe I'm going to have to do the thing that I threatened to do if he gets to 28 usage, because he had high usage again. 12, 6, and 6 for Suggs, which is, if you don't know, very high usage. They stopped, 26%? He is still playing limited minutes, and he's going to be very limited, but I like what I'm seeing. Also, if it wasn't for the horrific percentages, Wendell Carter Jr. is also doing well. 10 and 10, 1 steal, 2 blocks. You'd love that. 36 from the field is terrible, and 1 of 3 from the line is also bad. But I will say this. Imagine they were just normal. Then you got, 16 and 10 with a steal and 2 blocks? He's playing huge minutes. He's playing definitely ahead of Goga Bitadze without any threat at all. If you're not searching for just incredible upside, he's providing enough value there. Desi Bain had 24, pretty empty otherwise. But let's talk about Paolo, who sucked. And then last game, we got some stuff coming back, and we got the free throws looking great. And then this game, we got the example case of, oh, yeah, he could be awesome. Now, it's not going to happen every game, but getting an example of it, 32, 7 and 5 for Banchero, 3 blocks, 56% shooting, and a perfect 11 of 11 from the line. That's great. You want to see it. You don't believe that it's going to happen all the time, but seeing it once, and then 2 games in a row with great free throws is unbelievably good. So that is a huge turnaround there. Wagner had 22, 4 and 4, which I love. And then we saw Mr. Black play 30 minutes off the bench. That's a lot. He's clearly ahead of Tyus Jones, who barely played. You got Tristan Da Silva playing only 15 minutes after a couple of early good games. Black was good again, 14 points and a triple one. That's moving him close enough to a 175 player league, a 14-man league. It's moving close to that, given the way that they're leaning on him just that little bit more. What we will now do is talk about the Philadelphia 76ers. And shall we talk Valdez Edgecombe Jr., the dominatrix? 39 minutes again for VJ, which is clearly a lot. But only 21 usage in a game without Joel Embiid and a game without Paul George, which you might say that's annoying, but it's actually great. It's great that he had such low usage and still was great with those guys out. Edgecombe had 26, 4 and 7. He shot 59% from the field, hit 2 threes. He hit his threes at really high percent, but overall he has just been incredibly good as a rookie, incredibly good. We don't normally see this out the gate. Now, I do very firmly believe there is going to be a drop-off here at some point. But once Nurse gets in his head that he loves you, the minutes are going to be great. We saw Adem Bona start in place of Joel Embiid. We saw Jabari Walker start with Dominic Barlow out. Walker got into foul trouble. He didn't do much. You might consider him tomorrow, considering Barlow will be out there, but they also might go with a little Bona-Embiid combination. As for Bona, split the minutes down the guts with Drummond, 7 and 4 with 3 blocks. If that's what's going to happen in games that Embiid is out, now he can be better than that. I'm not sure you need to bother holding him. Part of the reason we wanted to draft him late rounds is I thought Embiid would be out to start the season, and you get something out of Bona, and then you'd move on. Yeah, I don't think that you need to do that at this point. Tyrese Maxey, just incredible minutes, 42 minutes, 43, 4 and 8, huge usage, great from the line, and we actually got a huge Oubre game as well. 25 and 10 with 2 blocks. Now, he has not been that strong in most of the games, but Oubre he needs to be rostered. He's not rostered enough, Kelly Oubre, in 12-team leagues. We can adjust when other guys return, but they're not there, so don't worry about it. Just add Kelly Oubre now, and then we make that adjustment moving forward, if we need to. Now we can do the second game of the day. This was a pretty big ass kicking. The Cavs take care of business against the Pistons. 116-95 is your final score. Cleveland goes in with an unchanged lineup, and probably one of the biggest surprises of the day was not Edgecombe playing 40 minutes, but DeAndre Hunter getting 6 assists. What world do we live in? Bro only scored 13 points. Bro, I want you for scoring. What are these assists? What are you doing? Why are you ruining the plan? Doesn't matter. For now, Hunter is a guy to roster. And you can see this game how much of a blowout it was. Look at the minutes. Jarrett Allen was good again. 20 and 7. Now he's been bad, good, get bad, good. Still not quite inside the top 100 for the season, and the minutes were down here. But good to see that he's got some big games in him. Mitchell had 35 points, but not much else. And Evan Mobley, I just think that he's still got more levels to go. I think Mobley, 15, 11, and 5 with 3 blocks is awesome. Not a lot else going on here apart from the injury to Slam and Sammy Merrill, who'd been putting up numbers that were worthy of 12-team roster spots. And he hurt his hip. And then Kenny Atkinson, the way he spoke after the game, made me think that he is going to sit out some time here, Merrill. 11 points, 3 threes, and 2 steals. Let's wait, but obviously if he misses, you're not going to feel particularly great about holding on. I don't think there's much point in that. Let's go to the Pistons side, and there's not a huge takeaway here, except we saw the ups and downs of Asar Thompson. Thompson played 36 minutes the last time that we saw him. Today he played 15 minutes and had 4 fouls, and the game was a blowout. He is good. He's a good player, but he also, in a frustrating thing, gave us the full Ryan Anderson. And what is the full Ryan Anderson, you may ask? 0 assists, 0 steals, and 0 blocks. And you expect that from Ryan Anderson. You don't expect that from Asar Thompson, who ended up with 6 points and 3 rebounds. The blowouts is a problem, but we have seen his minutes go up and down. And we saw this last season where JB Bickerstaff hid behind the shroud of a minutes restriction. He's not going to have any problems in limiting Asar's playing time. That was, I liked getting him as a breakout guy. I did like it, but I did say that I am somewhat concerned about the lack of spacing and the way that JB handles these type situations. So We don't do anything with it, but we just monitor it. Jalen Duren, who had 2 blocks in 21 minutes, had foul trouble, blowout. He's been pretty good, but annoyingly inconsistent. And then Toby Harris, again, not great, only 18 minutes. Cade is a huge buy low here. 12 points in 29 minutes, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. And I'm noticing, and I don't know what this is, it's just more people that follow the show or more people that follow me, but there are more people being way more impatient. Yeah, it takes Cade his dog shit. I'd take a 4th round pick for him. Would you? Would you really? All right. Jakob Poeltl deserves to be out of the league. Okay, let's just all settle down. And I know these things are bad, but we've got like 24 weeks left. Things will probably normalize, but it's always your opportunity to just go in there and just tap, just squeeze the edges. Go, hey, how's Cade going? Conversation. Now, I'm not the master of negotiation here, but just a quick question. Just like, man, pretty shit that you picked Cade up high, isn't it? And see how reactive that person is. See what they want to do. I still do not understand why Isaiah Stewart is as highly rostered as he is. He had 9 rebounds, sure. He had a 1-1, no problem. He shot 11%, and he just does not belong on 12-man rosters. And rugged Ronnie Holland was better here. If Ron Holland was a 30-minute player, we would roster him everywhere. But there's too much inconsistency again with his playing time to get too involved in it. Duncan Robinson, 8 points in 26 minutes for him. He gets you 3s and nothing else. You stream him and that's it. And then Dennis Jenkins. I like him as a player. But remember that Ivy, LeVert, and Sass are all out. Jenkins had 5 assists and 3 steals. Keep an eye on him. I think he's an NBA caliber backup point guard, but the path to him doing that in games at the moment it's not quite clear. We've got more games, obviously, to come back and talk about. Before we do that, today's episode, it is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there is no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game, FanDuel has live betting on NBA games. You can go in, you can check out what's happening as we speak. Go and have a look and say, hey, do I place a bet on this right now? Because I can think of a 4th quarter comeback or someone who's going to pop off after a cold start to the game. You can also do that and combine them into a live same-game parlay. Right now, FanDuel is also giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. The basketball season is here, obviously, so you want to go see games. And doing that used to be a pain. Back in the day, you get surprise fees and long queues, but with Game Time, they're here to fix that for you. Game Time is the app that gives you, as a fan, the advantage. It's the ultimate life hack for securing amazing NBA tickets, easy and stress-free. The zone deals are awesome. The see what you pay thing, like you don't have to worry about fees getting added on. The price that you see on the tickets is the price that you pay straight up on Game Time. So take that guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. The code is LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Now, I'm sure this is the one that everyone came to hear about because, we're all big Josh Minott guys over here. The Boston Celtics go to New Orleans with some pretty weird starting groups happening in this one. Josh Minott did enter the starting lineup, and he started over Hugo Gonzalez for the Boston Celtics. This consistent changing of the starting lineups, and then Sneaky Joe Mazzulla said something that he said in preseason that I talked about decently enough, maybe not enough, but he said the same thing. He goes, they said, why did you start Josh Minott? He said, we have 12 to 13 guys who are capable of impacting winning. You know what that means? It means they're just going to chuck guys randomly. They're just going to throw things through. We had Sam Hauser starting. We had Chris Boucher starting preseason. And then we had Hugo Gonzalez, and now we've got Josh Minott. Now, Minott, by far, is the best fantasy player of that group. And we hope, as fantasy managers, that Minott holds this position. But it also is worth noting that in the first 3 games, Minott played 28 minutes combined. And in this game, he played 28 minutes. 15 and 9 with a 1-1, 67% shooting. If you're in a Roto league, I think that you add Josh Minott without any question because you've got the ability to sit him and not play him. In a head-to-head daily changes format, or let's say any head-to-head league that has rotisserie characteristics, meaning you've got weekly lineups, deeper benches, or games caps, adding Minott makes sense because if he does lock in the starting spot, and I don't know that that's happening, but if he does, then you've got a good player on your hands. And we take the chances on guys who've shown that every time they play, things pop off. But if you're in a daily changes scenario, limited ads, and you're going to rely upon Joshy, it could get a bit rough. Now, the Celtics have a really strong little schedule period here as well, but just be aware that they could mix and match this really at any point. But yeah, overall, the general vibe of Minot is, add him. Let's see. Simons, who was a sad boy yesterday, was great. 25 and 6, but only 1 assist. He hit 6 threes and he was really strong in a blowout win over the Pelicans. I didn't even tell you that. 122 to 90. And then Pritchard had 18, 3 and 8. And I would say that Peyton Pritchard's still been underwhelming and still been good. Both those things are true. Jaylen Brown played the back-to-back, which was surprising, but he only got 24 minutes. 15 and 7, while Derek White, the shooting is just off for him. Now, I don't think anybody would panic sell on Derek, but I'd be listening if someone was just so annoyed by the poor shooting, because it's been bad. 11, 3 and 7 for White. As for Hauser, 3 threes, 9 points, steal, block. That's fine. It's useful enough to stream in, but that's about it. While Nemeas Cater, the Pascal Donata, 6, 11 and 4 blocks. Very similar to Wendell Carter Jr. He's just doing enough to be on a 12-man roster. And at the moment, Chris Boucher doesn't look like a factor. Now, Luka Garza was pretty good here with 16 and 6. That's a nice little deeper league one. But Cater at the moment is doing enough to be on your 12-man rosters. And then, we see what happens after that. Now we go to the Pelican side. And out of nowhere, they started rookie Jeremiah Fears. Now, I said that I think there was a chance that Jeremiah Fears was going to be the worst player in the NBA for the first 2 months of the season. And he'd been really good. This, though, is exactly why I said that. Because he was not good enough. He was bad in his first career start. He had a Richie Beno, but the bad kind. 2 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. He shot 9% from the field. 9. Not 19, 9. 1 of 11. And he was a minus 31 in his 27 minutes. This was a game where they didn't have Zion Williamson, who suffered a bone contusion in his foot, which, Jesus Christ, really, Zion? Come on. You've been playing great. Hopefully that's just a one-time thing and he's back, but I don't know. And then they made the move to take the guy that I thought would be the easy replacement for Zion, the depressed penis, Sadiq Bey. He moved out of the starting group and went back to the bench, so they've replaced Yves Missi in there, who, again, I don't think he's particularly strong. We'll talk about Missi, who played only 19 minutes. 11 and 7 is good, though. It's really good in limited minutes. I just don't care. I just don't think that he's anything more than a 14-team, 175-player league guy who you can stream occasionally in 12s. Jordan Poole was the only really good option here. 22 and 4 in 34 minutes, but he shot poorly. And I was hoping that, given the absences of guys, that we would see, the rookie that I thought we'd see would be Derek Queen. The Blizzard played 22 minutes. He had 12 and 3. It's fine. If you added Queen, and some people did, I don't mind just a little sneaky hole just to see what happens, because we all know that Missi is not it. Carla Makovic is not it. DeAndre Jordan is not it, even though he played 11 minutes here. Kevon Looney is not it. We'll see what they do, but to me, this was the perfect chance. No Zion, get Queen in, and they didn't do it. So Willie Green, I'm not really sure what to do there. Absolute stinker from Trey Murphy. 7, 5, and 5 for Ken. And Herb Jones was better, but still not good. It's been a very slow start to the season for Herb and for Trey, to be honest. Again, don't worry about anything with Fears and adding him or anything like that. We got Alvarado back into the mix, and then Bay had 11 points in 24 minutes with 3 threes, but nothing super actionable about that stuff there. Now we can go on to the next one. It is the Toronto Raptors and the San Antonio Spurs. In San Antonio, the Spurs win it easily, 121-103. The Raptors rolled out their same starting group, which they've done every game. That might not be the case as we move forward, though. We'll talk about that. I might as well just talk about it right now, because one of the most disappointing players to begin this season has been someone that I was high on. I thought that he was priced incorrectly in drafts, and so far that looks incredibly stupid and wrong. And that is the big fella Jakob Poeltl. Now, I did talk about this yesterday or the day before, saying the extreme foul trouble that Jakob is getting in, I think that it is his back causing problems, causing him to try and make up for the fact that he's got no mobility, so he's reaching in, leading to the fouls. All right, that's what I posited was the reason for all of these fouls. And then today, he left the game early with back soreness. Not good. Not good. Speaking of not good, he was not good. He can't even get bunnies to fall. 17%. Now, he is not washed. He's not finished. But I think the back is actually causing a significant problem here. And when we found out about that right at the very end of preseason, I probably didn't wait enough into it. Now, of course, all of my early stuff talking about him being a value pick, the back injury didn't exist there. And I don't know if this would have happened had it not been for the back injury, but I feel pretty confident that it is back injury related. So what do you do with Poeltl? I am holding him. I believe that he's very clearly their best center. He just needs to be back to normal somewhat. So what do you do now? Because Sandro Mamakhalishvili played 17 minutes, had 5 points. That's not very good. But rookie Colin Murray-Boyles had his second career game and was really good. There's a lot here that feels a bit wrong in terms of how we projected forward. 19 points, 64% true shooting, 33 usage in his 24 minutes. He is undersized as a center, but he is a very, very good defender. He had 3 steals and a block, and he can put those numbers up really at any point. Would you consider adding him? I'm asking that as if that's you asking me, I guess. I think I would consider it. Because Pirtle could miss. Mamu is not a solution. And maybe we get something out of Murray-Boyles. This was incredibly intriguing. It's incredibly intriguing. The question, I guess, is would I want him or Minot? Well, I think I look at it with a longer-term lens. Minot has probably got more of a shot of starting for the rest of the season, even though that's not guaranteed. But he's got more of a shot of that being something. Whereas I'm not sure that Murray-Boyles does unless we get some sort of horrific news about Pirtle and his back, which could happen. Scott Barnes was not good here. 8 points in 20 or 30 minutes. Ingram had 14 points. Barrett, another strong scoring night with some pretty good shooting numbers. And then quickly had one of his better games as well. 15, 3 and 7 with 3 steals. So despite them getting cooked and Pirtle being terrible, we got some okay numbers from the other players. But not a lot else to really discuss. Grade A Dick, by the way, 8 minutes. Still somehow rostered in some 12-team leagues, which is just absolutely defying any sort of sense of logic at this point, I guess. I don't really understand why that is. Let's talk Spurs. They had the same starting group again. So one of the things we wanted to check on in this game is the Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle situation. Castle played 31 minutes and he scored really well. 22 points. But bro, what is going on with the Giannis free throws? 64% from the line on 14 attempts. He is killing you. Now, I know when you drafted him, we thought this guy's not a good shooter, but you did not draft him going, I'm forced into a punt here, because that's basically what's happening. I'm going to be really intrigued to see where it goes from here, but that's a significant problem. But he scored really well. And then Dylan Harper, only 27 minutes. I would have hoped he got a little bit more. But 11, 6, and 6 is good enough to just keep on your 12-team rosters. Wemby only blocked 1 shot. But after the bad percentages from yesterday, he decided to go 88 from the field and 10 of 10 from the line. Even in games where it's like, this is not your best, my guy. He still goes 24, 15, and 4 with a steal and a block on elite percentages. Like, what even is this guy? I'm not going to get to do this very much this season, but we got 32 minutes from the pencil Harrison Barnes. Barnesy! $18 points, 4 threes, 5 assists. Thanks, my guy. 87% shooting. Love that for you. Please don't annoy me in any other games. Not here for it. Don't want to hear about you doing good stuff. Devin Vassell was solid enough. And again, guys like Vassell and even Harper and Castle and to a lesser extent Champagny, all their value is up. But when Fox comes back, what happens? That's what we don't know. We literally have no idea how Harper, Castle, Vassell, Johnson, Champagny all sort of fit around him. I really like Harper. I like him as a player. I just don't know how they are going to handle it, and that's going to be one of the big questions when we're viewing this team as we move forward. We've got more games to talk about, so we will do that, of course, for today's episode. It is brought to you by Rippling. If you're a business owner, you know that SaaS promised to make work easier, but now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS, that's sad. Software as a disservice. That's why you need Rippling. It's the unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance, all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. It's simple to use. It gives you one source of truth for the people, data, and everything that they touch. Run your entire HR, IT, and finance operations as one, or you can just help fill in the gaps in your software stack. Right now, you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/LockedOnNBA. That is rippling.com/LockedOnNBA. That is rippling.com/LockedOnNBA for 6 months free. Today's episode is also brought to you by Monarch. There's so much stuff that happens with investments and 401ks and bank accounts. Can you even name all of them? Do you even know how much you're worth? Well, if you don't, and you don't know where things are, How can you build on your wealth? That's where Monarch comes in, the all-in-one personal finance tool, bringing your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface. You don't have to worry about creating your own spreadsheets or doing anything like that. This can review everything for you, your partner, put it all together, track your spending, track your budget, track your goals, all in one place. So don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com. The code is LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. So let's get through the rest of these games now. The next one we're going to look at is the Atlanta Hawks traveling to take on the undefeated Chicago Bulls, who remain undefeated, winning 128-123. Bulls over. Let's go. Big changes to the Hawks because a lot of their guys, all their guys came back. Jalen Johnson was in. Mohamed Waiver moves to the bench. Kristaps Porzingis returns. Onyeka Okongwu moves to the bench. Zachary Ricochet returns. Maybe he shouldn't have. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker moves to the bench. Let's talk Hawks. Let's talk Jalen Johnson, who had 25 and 6, 3 assists and 3 steals. I know people were very panicked about this guy being injury prone and not worth it. I don't believe that, and I'm very happy with what he did. Porzingis had 27 in 26 minutes. Annoying that he only played 26 minutes, but at least he's back from that illness, which I do believe was just an illness. And I know that people have been frustrated with Trae Young. He always starts slow. If you're frustrated by him getting 21, 3, and 17, then I'm not sure what you wanted. I didn't want him as a first-round pick. I was very clear on that. I thought a second-round guy was worth it, but I also understand that he's better than this, and he'll shoot better than this. And those assists are incredibly valuable. As for Ricochet, it's getting to be, I don't know if a problem is the right word, but 20 minutes as a starter, coming back from the ankle injury, like Quinn Snyder again limited him last season. He almost Tony Snelled it. He had 2 points. With no threes, no rebounds, no assists, no steals, and no blocks. He's sort of an afterthought. He doesn't do anything. He was a team best plus 13, but we don't care. Why do we care for fantasy? We just don't. So, Zach, in 130 player leagues, 150s, honestly 175s, 14-man leagues.
Get that garbage out of here!
Nickeil Alexander-Walker is just better at this point. Now, as for Alexander-Walker, he played his 30 minutes off the bench. He had 17, 3, and 3 with 4 threes. And the way that he's playing, he just looks like a guy you have on a 12-team roster. If any one player goes out, he's going to do more. He looks great. Is he the one that's hurting Dyson Daniels? Because, yikes. I was pretty confident that Daniels would see reduced usage this season. He got his 3 steals, and he had 7 rebounds. So you're okay with that. But 2 points? 2. Now, it would have been better had he not shot that horribly, but 11% usage, team worst minus 15. He is really struggling on offense. He's doing nothing. I know people will have the reaction to go and drop him. Do not do that. And I'm glad that majority of you didn't go into round 2 or round 3 to get him. To me, he was a guy around 50 or later that you could target if you needed steals. But the usage problem, I thought, was relatively clear on the surface. Onyeka Okongwu, in his bench role, we always love to see what happens when Porzingis is there. 18 and 10, 2 threes, steal block, 29 minutes. Right, great. Look, he is going to return pretty good value on that draft pick, I think. Well, unfortunately, Gay played just 10 minutes, 4 points, not much there. We like Gay if someone is out. Otherwise, we don't really need to mess with Gay that much. What we can do, though, what we can mess with is the GOAT. Should we mess with Nikola Vucevic? Because he did it with a huge game again. 17 and 17. No one denies his ability to grab rebounds. He's very good at that. Adding 9 assists and 2 steals is excellent. 86% from 2, which led to 64 from the field, is also excellent. He is on fire again. And I would say it again. It's still a sell high. I don't care. Because these things will not stick. And if you are someone who's just very anti-me, and I get that, I'm also anti-me a lot as well. But if you are anti-me, you'd be like, yeah, I'm not buying into this. Like, what are you talking about, Josh? He's definitely not a sell high. He'll keep doing this. Okay, that's okay, right? There's just so much about this that he's not going to get assists like this. He's not going to shoot like this. He just won't. So always judge it. But also, you got him in the 50s. Just enjoy it. You don't have to do anything with it if you don't want to. You can, but you don't have to. Most of the time with sell highs, especially but buy lows, it's more like just be aware that there's going to be changes here because the stuff that's happening is like it's the greatest stuff of all time. Trey Jones, he has to be rostered everywhere. I think that even when Kobe White returns, Trey might stay rosterable. 14, 7, and 9 with 2 steals is excellent. Now, because Isaac Okoro is bad, right? And he could just easily play 18 minutes and Jones plays 30. Giddey, 18, 13, 5, steal, block, bad free throws, everything else really strong. While Vanderpants continues to be pretty good. 15 points for Herter. Not much else there, while Dosunmu had 21 in 27 minutes. This team is putting up just great numbers. Not the best night for Matas Buzelis. Some foul trouble, but he played 32. But it's much better than the last time. He just was bad with both his percentages and got no defensive stats. I'm not really worried about Buzelis at all. The role is pretty secure. Well, it's very secure, 32 minutes. He had 16 and 5. Just rough shooting numbers. Again, don't need to panic on that. As for Dosunmu and Herter, they're fringy 12 guys at the moment. Jones is just an absolute rock-solid 12 guy at the moment. Didn't mean to refer to him as rock-solid, but, YOLO. How long's it been since you heard someone say YOLO? Now we can go on to the Brooklyn Nets and the Houston Rockets. This one, a pretty sizable blowout. The Nets rolled out the same starting group. Yegor Dioman was out resting on the back-to-back with his foot issue. So that means we got minutes from Nolan Traore off the bench. 4 points in 21 minutes, while Ben Saraf able to bump his minutes to 25. You do not need to roster Saraf. You do not need to roster Dioman. I don't think in 12-team leagues either. And then we saw after a terrible start, some big games, then Michael Porter Jr. and Cam Thomas struggled again. Thomas was brutal here. I think he got benched at one point. 9 points in 25 minutes, no rebounds, bad shooting, bad free throws. Porter was a little bit better, 18, 4, and 2 on 62%. You can't really do anything to sell after this, but we are getting the full gamut, the full spectrum of ups and downs with these guys. Terrence Mann, off to a really hot start, 21 points in 23 minutes, but we don't do anything there. While Claxton continues to be incredibly underwhelming. We are going to get to the stage, and I think not quite there, but we're getting close, where he's just not worth holding in 12-10 leagues. At 6 and 3, no blocks. Day'Ron Sharpe was awesome, 22 minutes, 17 and 12. He's useful as a streamer a lot of nights when the Nets play, but it is hard to rely upon someone in that bench role the way that he is. But there are going to be plenty of times, I think, that we call for him to just start over Claxton. For the Rockets, this is frustrating because they decided to not go with the big Steven Adams lineup, and he had 4 points in 16 minutes with 8 rebounds, which obviously is not enough. And this is what we talked about on the waiver show, talking about adding him, and if he starts, he's got value, but if he doesn't, he's not good enough for 12s. And we see it now. If they're going to go back and forward, it's hard to do that. But instead of starting Reed Shepherd, they started Josh Okogie. Why? I know Okogie's a good defender, but we don't care about that for fantasy, but what it does is it further handcuffs Reed. Now, Reed did end up with a really good line, but a lot of that was padded in garbage time. 15, 4, and 8 for Shepherd in 24 minutes, and it is getting to the stage where you might consider dropping. I will hold, because even though he hasn't been good, he's still a top 130 player. Now, the problem that I'm having with it is that if the coach just won't start him, then when does it ever get better? But the numbers there are okay. And we also got an incredibly good game from Tari some season. Sort of. Eason was on fire. He had 5 triples in the first half. And he had 0 in the second half. He played 26 minutes off the bench. The blowout is a part of it. 22, 5, and 5. So if you were panicking about Eason, this should just give you a little bit of a massage. Just smooth the brain out. Or maybe, no, not smooth, because smooth brains are bad. You want crinkles. You want crevices in the brain. Maybe it just crevices up your brain. Makes you feel better. Because that is a much better performance from Tari Eason. Points leagues, not as interested in holding him outside of 175 player leagues. Categories, you're looking at 150s, I think you do hold. But at least is encouraging that we got a better game out of Eason. Şengün had 21, 6, and 6. That 3-point shooting was fine here. 2 of 2, but the volume is down after the opener. And then Durant was 19 and 6. But I guess you'll want to talk about Amen Thompson again as well. Again, I'm not super panicked on Amen. It's not good. It's not good, all right? 12, 4, and 8 with a steal is definitely not good. But we have seen this man in 35 minutes as a starter be a top 20 player. We literally have seen it. Now, is Kevin Durant coming in and replacing Brooks and Green that much of a change? I actually don't think so, especially with no Fred VanVleet. I think that you have to hold the line. Now, Amen got into foul trouble here. He's just not playing well. There's a lot of weird stuff happening in terms of just trying to get guys in their right spots and figure it out. It's annoying, but I'm not panicked on it. I'm worried, but not panicked. And I hope that distinction is relatively clear. I think it is. Now we can go to the 7th game of the day, the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Dallas Mavericks. 101 Oklahoma, 94 Dallas. The Thunder rolled out the same starting lineup. Immediately, we want to check on AJ Mitchell. 27 minutes, 17 and 7 with a steal. Great. Now, there's still no Bronco, no Caruso, no Testicle Legend, Nikola Topic, and no Isaiah Joe. I think Topic is just not going to be in the rotation, and I think Joe could be at risk too. The ones are going to be the concern of Caruso and Williams. For now, Mitchell's got that value that you hold on to. Aaron Wiggins, solid enough, but more like 175 player leagues, 11-3-3, while Cason Wallace, I talked about him on the Waiver Wire show today, saying that outside of steals, I'm not certain he's going to remain a must roster. 4, 5, and 5 with a steal on 22%. That's not very good. Lou Dort, also not good. 6, 5, and 1. As for the big names, Shea, 23, 4, and 8, really solid. Chet, 18, 11, 4 blocks on a back-to-back. You love to see it. And Hartenstein, after a slow start, has been good the last 2 games. 16 and 12, and they're sort of finding their groove, those guys. Mitchell's the big surprise, and we do worry about what happens long-term, but for now, you grab him, and we just see where it goes and where it takes us. But it is hard to see how it's going to happen enough when we move forward, or when those guys return maybe more accurately. Let's start with the Mavericks here because they were without Derek Lively, and they didn't start D'Angelo Russell. What they did was start Max Christie. Russell, who was the belle of the ball yesterday with big minutes, and we thought that there'd be an opportunity here with no Lively to play big minutes, and there was. He played 30 minutes. He had 9 points on 21% shooting. What I think you should be encouraged by, though, is the 10 assists, but also the 27 usage. So he is hard to figure out. Absolutely, it's hard to figure out how Jason Kidd's going to use him. But also, Cooper Flagg hurt his shoulder in this game. He played through it, but after the game, Kidd was like, we'll see what happens. He's tough, he played through it, but did hurt his shoulder. So Russell is probably someone to grab or have on your roster right now. Anthony Davis played at center, 26 and 11 with a block. He's putting up big numbers, while Paul Washington had 15 and 9, a steal and a block. And we also got a Jaden Hardy appearance. All right, 21 minutes for him, 11 points with 2 steals. It's likely because old mate Brandon Williams was also out in this game. As for Flagg, that's really bad. 11% shooting, 2 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 steals. Before you overreact to Cooper Flagg, though, just look at his last 2 games. They were awesome. This is bad. We knew he was going to have growing pains. We knew there'd be efficiency problems early on. I'd say overall that his production has been okay, but I think one of the things I said is don't be surprised if he's a top 100 guy for 2 months and then rolls as top 30 for the rest of the way. And we're sort of tracking that at the moment. Christie had 14 points with 4 threes in a start. That's nothing to get excited about or to add or to massively consider in most formats. Now we go on to a really, really wild game. The Utah Jazz and the Phoenix Suns. The Jazz win it overtime, 138-134. Dylan Brooks was out for Phoenix, so they went with the Basmati man, Royce O'Neal, in the starting lineup, who'd been playing a lot and then delivered in a massive way. 46 minutes, 17, 13, and 7 with 5 steals and 5 threes. What? I don't think you need to add him in 12s, but honestly, he's producing at a level that maybe you want to consider it, at least as a stream guy. Definitely in like 175-man leagues, 14ers, you do that because they're using him a lot. And then the guy that I've talked about a lot on the streaming shows, Colin Gillespie. 15, 3, and 13. 4 threes, 3 steals, 1 block. I think what I said was if Booker goes down, he'd be a must-add everywhere. I guess it just needed Brooks going out. Now, of course, Brooks and Green both have to return, but that's huge. That's just a massive performance. Booker had 34, 5, and 10 as well, while Grayson Allen, another game that shows he's a must-roster player. 23, 2, and 5 with 4 threes. As for O'Neal, stream him in for sure if Brooks remains out. Gillespie's like a 170, probably a 200-man league guy, but with way more upside. In fact, maybe you even go higher than that. Honestly, maybe he's like a 14-man league, 175-man roster guy. Let's talk about Mark Williams, though. So much panic about this guy. So much confusion. Some of it from me. It's like, what are you doing? Because I said to you guys, he played 31 minutes a night for the Hornets last season and was a top 20 player. So I'd like to just hold to see what's going on. Well, after he sat the back-to-back and played 14 minutes a game before, he came off the bench again with some sort of minutes target. Played 31 minutes, had 25 and 11. And 2 steals. What? Now, do I believe they're going to commit to playing him 31 minutes a night moving forward? I don't know. But what this is vindication, I guess, for me telling you the other centers are trash and he's clearly better than all of them. Now, if someone drops him, you obviously add him without any question. There's no question about this. And if you held, just quickly go for the blanket jack maybe. Feel good about it. It sort of came out of nowhere. I don't know how you go from 14 minutes to 31, but he did, and he was great. Ryan Dunn is not a 12-team guy, not a 150-player league guy. He's a 200-player league guy. 7 points for him, while Iguodala had 13 minutes. And I do think that might be it for his starting one. Remember, the first week to 2 weeks of the season, there's just wild stuff everywhere. You will go back in April and go, remember when I thought Iguodala was the starter for Phoenix? Remember that? Okay, that was so insane. It was ridiculous. Why did that happen? Remember when Bruno Fernando started over Alperen Şengün because he gave the Rockets a lob threat? Shout out to that insane moment in coaching history. Let's go Jazz, because they're the ones who actually won the game. Same starting group for them again. Markkanen is just, bro, what is going on with this guy? He was not only unavailable last season, but terrible when he played. 51 points, 45 minutes, 14 rebounds, 6 threes. 17 of 17 from the line, 44 from the field, not good. Now, I was not interested in him. I said, I think they're going to be bad. I think he's going to be limited. He just played poorly. At the moment, it looks incredibly wrong. He looks ridiculous. He is a completely different player than what he was last season. And that's great. I could be incredibly wrong on this. Was I wrong on Keontae George or just early? I don't know. He's hard to judge, this guy, but I feel very confident that Collier is not taking the job. 43 minutes, 26 points, 10 assists. Now, bear in mind, the Suns are terrible, so that helps. But George is putting up very good numbers, while Walker Kessler, 25 and 11 with 4 blocks, also incredibly good. So let's check on Ace Bailey. There's no way that he is being limited by the illness now. There's just no way. 6 points, 14 minutes, behind Svi Mykhailiuk. The Jazz are playing well. He shot 22%, spreadsheet FC.
Get that garbage out of here.
You do not roster him. You don't roster Taylor Hendricks. And it's really hard with Kyle Filipowski, honestly, as well. 3 points in 20 minutes. Sensabaugh also did not much in this game because Mykhailiuk played 37 minutes. Now, I don't think Svi is going to do this all the time. I would be pretty doubtful he plays 37 minutes, but he had 11 points, 2 threes with 4 steals. Now, at some point, Bailey will probably be better. But also, he projected really poorly for category leagues. Solid enough for points leagues, but he's nowhere near it in points leagues at the moment. He's not playing enough. Get him out of here. I always maintained in the preseason run-up that I didn't understand him being a 2. He's a 3/4. And if they're going to try and squeeze him in at the 2, I didn't really get it. Okay. We'll see what happens. He's going to improve as the season goes on. His minutes will go up. But I don't think, especially in a category league, that the payoff for Bailey will be worth it. It is not good at the moment. And again, a week later, I really don't think that he's still on a minutes restriction after his illness. Are we getting Bickerstaffed here? It is possible. Let's check in on the Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves without Anthony Edwards. The Nuggets, of course, went with the same... Well, not of course, you didn't know that necessarily, but they went with the same starting lineup, but they might not in the next game because Cam Johnson had 5 points in 19 minutes, leaving with shoulder soreness. Now, I don't know what that means exactly. We'll see. I didn't think anything specific really happened necessarily, but he's obviously been bad. He's worth holding, but we did give these warnings about him that he would not replicate, I didn't think, Michael Porter Jr. I thought he'd be way worse than Michael Porter Jr. He's way worse than me thinking he was way worse, but we should have had these sort of expectations. Big Chungus, 25, 10 and 10 for Jokic, another triple-double, that's 3 in a row, shot unbelievably, but only 10 times. I think that's 18 shots in the last 2 games only. 90% from the field, 100% from the line. He was great, while the headmaster's also been ridiculously good, Jamal Murray. 43, 6 and 3. He was a target for a lot of us in drafts. He's shooting unbelievably. He's shooting a lot as well. He's driving a lot of this offense. While Christian Brown, it's been 1 good game and 2 bad ones. 33% from the field, incredibly low volume. And this is always the risk with him, is that he's not a volume guy. He doesn't do anything really apart from field goal percentage. And at the moment, he's not even bringing that. I don't think that you want to drop him at this stage, but we just watch it while Aaron Gordon, predictably, cooled off. Still rostering him, obviously. Well, maybe it's not obvious, but you are rostering him 9, 3, and 3. It was also a game out of nowhere from Tim Hardaway. 20 points, 4 threes. Don't do anything with that outside of desperation streaming. And then Peyton Watson also had his best game. 12 points, 2 threes, and 2 blocks. Again, don't need to do anything really with that as we move forward. Let's go on to the Minnesota side because they were playing their first game here without Anthony Edwards. And the starting lineup was what we saw second half of yesterday. Michael Conley started with Edwards out. So let's just look at what Conley was able to do. 10 points, 4 assists, 111, and played 26 minutes. He was playing like 13 minutes off the bench. If you play 26 minutes, I'm not saying that he's a 12-team guy, a 150-player league guy. He's not. But 175s, yes, that is enough. The big Ragu had some foul trouble. Dante DiVincenzo, 12, 3, and 4. Not ideal. Shot poorly. He is a must-roster player, but that's not great. Well, we also thought that we'd get way more Jaden McDaniels, and we did. 25 points, 3 rebounds, 4 blocks, led the team in shot attempts. I didn't see that coming, but this is great. This is what we saw last season when players went out. He would step up. Julius Randle has been honestly amazing to start this season, 24 and 7 with 2 steals and a block, while Naz Reid also got to do more without Edwards there. Now, part of it also was Rudy Gobert being in foul trouble, enabling 27 minutes from Reid. He had 18 and 7 with a steal and a block, while Gobert, you do hold him, but that's like 1 good game out of 4. He had 8 and 5 with 2 blocks. Terrence Shannon, who only played 9 minutes yesterday. This sometimes the coaches are confusing. Yesterday, Edwards got hurt, and we saw nothing out of Shannon. Today, he played 25 minutes, and I wouldn't say his production was good. 9 points in those 25, but I guess it also helps in this one. Jalen Clark wasn't there. We got some Rob Dillingham minutes finally, but we don't add Shannon. We don't add Dillingham. We don't even really consider Bones outside of deeper formats. And that's where this team is. You're going to get a lot of Julius Randle. You're going to get a lot of Jaden McDaniels, more Mike Conley, and maybe an increase in usage for Naz Reid. Now we've got 2 games to go. The second last game, the Grizzlies and the Warriors. The Warriors win this one 131-118 is the final score. Should we start with the chicken? Cedric Coward. He played 25 minutes, so that's good. 9 points, 4 rebounds, no steals, 1 3. Shot well, but no free throws. And this is, again, what the concern was. He still shot well, but is he going to play 30 minutes? Is he going to get enough shots? Is there enough other supporting stuff? And today, obviously, there was not. So if you added Coward, I think you hold. But again, this is why we temper the expectation when a lot of the stuff is drawn through hype of elite shooting, which drives many categories. You got to have something else that falls back on. And he is a good steals guy, but I don't think that that's reliable enough at this point. Again, if you got him, go for it. It's fine. It's good. It's okay to have him. But expectations, be real. How about Jacques Landale? 24 minutes for Jock. 17 and 6 with 2 threes. That is a really big line. Now, his plus minus in this one was a team worst. No, not team worst. Jalen Wells was worse. Minus 19. He was a minus 17. While Santi Aldama still only played 22 minutes. 14, 6 and 4 and had 3 steals. That's the best game we've seen from Aldama. But I'm not investing in Santi Aldama. A mid type of player who is a backup to Jaren Jackson. I don't think we need to bother with that in 12s. Jalen Wells, I thought maybe we were going to see something different this season. We are not. There is no reason in 10s, 12s, 150 player leagues, even 175s. Honestly, we're getting to the stage where don't bother with it.
Get that garbage out of here.
Jaren has been okay, although the last few games have not been good. 16 points, 7 rebounds, a steal. Not his best. There's more to come, I hope. And Morant had 23 and 9. But overall, just a lot of nonsensy stuff going on here. Javon Small had been good. He didn't do very much in this one. It was Cam Spencer who was better with 11 points and 3 threes. But overall, we're just looking at Morant and Jackson. Obviously, we're seeing what Coward could do. I do think Coward will end up being a drop. I do think that. But for now, you can hold on to him and see where it goes. We just need to see if there's a way that they're going to give him more minutes. But obviously did not happen in this one. We can move across to the Warriors side of this game now, and they're looking really good, the Warriors. Let's talk about them. They did change their lineup, but it wasn't Moses Moody. It was Brandon Podziemski back into the starting lineup, while Quinton Post moved back to the bench, and Kuminga went crazy here, 25 and 10 in 32 minutes. Now, the opponents didn't play particularly well, but you love to see this from Kuminga, who's been very much improved this season. Moses Moody was also really good. Both players from the same draft class. Now, that's intriguing. 20 points, 5 threes, 2 blocks for Moody. I wonder if he moves into a starting lineup at any point soon. For now, we just look at him in like 175 player leagues, maybe. Jim Butler had 20 and 5. He was good. Steph Curry, not quite as good. And Draymond Green also, the 10 assists are good, but it was carried by Moody, Kuminga, and Podziemski, who had his best game. 23, 3 and 6 for Pods with 5 threes. Easily his best game. I find it really tough to rely upon Podziemski, especially with the way that Steve Kerr has been distributing the minutes. But we saw it in this one with Moody and Podziemski getting all that run. Willie Dick didn't do very much. Will Richard played just 9 minutes for 4 points. I thought he was coming up a little bit. And this is the confusion that does reign with Kerr, is that at any point, minutes can be all over the shop. And that makes it hard to trust guys like Podziemski or like taking a flyer on Moody. That's why Kuminga's been frustrating in the past. So for now, like Podziemski, if you've got him and you want to drop him, that's cool. If you want to hold him, that's cool. I wouldn't rush to go and grab him, but we're getting illustrated some of the frustrations with dealing with him and with Steve Kerr and the rotations. Now we can do the final game of the day, the Portland Trail Blazers and the Lakers, who of course have a million guys currently injured. Not surprisingly, the Blazers are able to get the victory here. They do it relatively comfortably in the end. 122-108 is the final score. Let's go into the Blazers side. They were able to run the same starting lineup again because they don't have any injuries in that group. Drew Holiday continues to be like ridiculously good. 23, 5 and 6, 1 steal, 2 blocks. I liked drafting him this season. Not like this is ridiculous. I don't know what happens when Scoot returns, but Holiday's got a really good role. Denny Avdia also was very good. 25, 4 and 4, 1 steal, 2 blocks. Well, Jeremy Grant, I hate to say it, but he's continuing to be good. 22 points, 3 threes, 3 steals and a block. And he was efficient. Now, this is not the Jeremy Grant that we normally see, but it's happening. So if you want him, go for it. I still don't really buy it, but it is happening. Donovan Clingan had a double-double, 16 and 14 with 2 blocks. One of his better games. Obviously, Young Hunsen's barely playing. And Tamani Kamara is struggling. He's one of the big strugglers on this team. 4 and 4. And it's largely because we're getting so much Holiday, so much Denny, so much Jeremy. I thought that Kamara would take a little bit of a step forward this season. It has not happened. He has stepped backwards. I am holding him, but it doesn't look great. And then Shaden Sharp just cannot get anything going offensively, efficiently anyway. He's taking a lot of shots, and he's playing good minutes. 29 minutes here, 16, 7, and 2. And he added 4 steals as a nice little bonus. But he can't shoot. I think that he will be able to be better, but we saw last season he was really bad and then kicked it up second half. We have to understand that this is maybe just he's inefficient, and he will be inconsistent. I'm frustrated with it, obviously. But I think that you don't really have much of a choice. You're not dropping him outside of really, really shallow formats. Let's talk about the Lakers because they had to make more changes to the starting lineup. We already know there's no Luka and there's no LeBron, and then Marcus Smart and Gabe Vincent. Vincent's out for 2 to 4 weeks. So they went big. Jared Vanderbilt started and was good. And we also started with Jake LaRavia, who was not. Let's start with Vanderbilt. 14 and 8 with 3 steals. That's 2 solid games in a row for Jared. And with Smart, I don't know how long he's out, but everyone else is out for extended periods. If I'm in at least 170 player league, 175, then I would add him. We also saw another strong game from the Snowman, DeAndre Ayton. 36 minutes, 16 and 8, 2 steals and a block. And Austin Reeves is just got to put up insane numbers. 41, 4 and 5 with 3 steals. With this game, they're so under demand. We had 20 Bronny minutes and 20 Nick Smith minutes. LaRavia got the playing time. But bro, can you hit a shot? Because if he did, I'd feel all right about it. He had 6 rebounds and 5 assists, but had 3 points on 17%. Could have been a nice 10, 6, and 5 with 2 threes sort of game. And that's fine. I still, despite the evidence in front of me, I still look at LaRavia over Vanderbilt, but not looking good. And then we also got more Dalton Connect. So if you're in a deeper format, Connect, 16 points. He had 2 steals. He's going to have to play while these guys are out. Now, we don't care about it long term, but he's going to have to play. The Mpitsu, Rui Hachimura, 36 minutes, 16 and 6. Not quite as good as yesterday, but definitely is, while everyone is out, definitely is a 12-team league player. Now, let's go and do the lines of the night. I've kept you here long enough. The monstrous line of the night was really close between Lauri Markkanen and Nikola Jokic, but I do go with Big Chungus, 25, 19, and 10 for Jokic with absolutely crazy efficiency numbers. Your waiver wire line of the night is the Basmati man. It couldn't really be anyone else. O'Neal is putting up really good numbers, and if Dylan Brooks remains out, he's a 12-team streamer. 17 and 13 with 7 assists and 5 steals for O'Neal. Your young gun of the night, it's Valdez. VJ Edgecombe, the dominatrix, another huge game, and the minutes are the thing that's really, really impressive here. We'll see how it looks tomorrow again when Embiid is there, but 26 and 4 with 7 assists. He's getting by even on lower usage. And the dud of the night, how many is this guy going to rack up? Well, at least until he drops below the roster percentage. Zach Ricochet, a 2-point Snell. Yeah, just dreadful. Snyder doesn't want to play him. He doesn't want to get involved. We don't need to roster him. And now, that will be me telling you that is the end of the show. It's over. We're done. Tomorrow we'll do a preview show, but I also might just do a little bit of a smaller show, which I don't normally do during the year, because we're not doing buy lows and sell highs until 2 weeks of data is in the books. What we'll be doing is a bit of a look at the rookies. So just a rookie-specific show, I think, will be coming tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Hit the subscribe button, thumb it up, bang it, double bang, comment, hype. Guys, we're done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.